Let's get it started. The round of 16 here in the bottom right hand corner. Spawning as the red Terran playing for Team Envy. It's Bunny. His opponent, the Blue Zerg, spawning in the top left hand corner instead. Italian Stallion playing for KZ Gaming. Let's give it up for Reynor. Starting off on Cosmic Sapphire, out of all maps. Not exactly what I was envisioning. I do think this is one of the most awkward maps out of the bunch. It gets extremely chaotic in the late game. And distances between players become basically a nuisance, having not really asymmetrical, just kind of weird map. Gives some pretty interesting late games, to say the least. Also, one of the things to be the most on the lookout for is the third base choice, since it feels like one of them is just slightly better than the other, with this one and then expanding over here afterwards. Looks like it's just kind of a better choice. Defending the high ground over here can become insanely difficult, and this is not exactly a hard position to micro for a Terran player. But we will see. Reynor is one of those players who can really change ideas based on his opponent, and maybe he knows something we don't, or maybe he will just go for what I think is the optimal third base. Then he's drawn over here, hiding in case of a Reaper that is never gonna come. Now our focus should be switched onto Bunny. We've seen plenty of different builds out of this tournament for Terran for all the matchups. Some of them new, some of them old. We've seen a big rise in popularity of a Triple Command Center before Starport. Huh. This is an interesting coincidence. It comes to Starport. It's just a one-on-one with an early Triple Command Center. It has become kind of the trend, since most of the new maps are very easy to defend on a free base array. This lane, by the way, without speed, actually scouts everything. This is something that is always like mind-numbing out of Reynor and Serral. How do they always get scouting links inside the bases of their opponents? Like, they always find a way in. Yeah, like, alright, like, this is not like the hardest time finding a way in for a single link. There's only one Marine defending. Most of the times, that single Zerg Marine does absolutely nothing. Reynor just sends it in and scouts everything. So it's already in position. Helen's being seen by Overlords, so never gonna do too much. Also, these rocks over here make life particularly easy for your opponent, for yourself to defend on a free base array. There's only two ways in, and both of them are very easy to defend. Like, this is kind of easy. This is not really even a way in. Like, it's a ramp. Just not a good idea. And this is another ramp, but it's a little bit further away. But yeah. That's all. Like, imagine defending here. This is a huge choke point. There's just no way you get units through that. And then so we'll try to get a couple Crypt Tumors, Painly Nest halfway through. They're just started. Reynor getting into some pretty standard Lane Bane comp for his early to mid transition. We don't see the Evo Chambers yet. We've also seen many Zerg players, especially Korean Zerg players, try to approach getting the Evo Chambers as soon as possible. Even before the lair most of the times, and just try to play the game of keeping up with the Terran in upgrades instead of catching up. Which can be super interesting. Two Banshees about to make their way out of the Terran base. Of course, they will have Banshee Cloak, otherwise they're just kind of useless. Looking just outside of Crit Tumor's range. There's a couple Spore Crawlers spread around. Oh, the Banshees have their targets in sight though, and it's gonna be Queens. Reynor sees the Banshees through the Crit Tumors, but there's no way of fighting them back. Scan gets used as well to kill a couple Crit Tumors. Meanwhile, the Overseer is just about to spawn. These Banshees still hurt like a truck, as the aliens are gonna be chased around by the Lings. Both Banshees make it out alive, and it's something I say often about Banshees. Banshees are this kind of unit that stays a thorn in the side of your opponent throughout the whole game. You always have to remember that there's Banshees lurking around and that they could get into one of your mineral lines at any moment's notice. You always have to be on the lookout, and it makes the game more stressful for those other players, and overall it can lead to some interesting scenarios in which you lose like even up to 10 drones without really acknowledging it. In the later stages of the game, these Banshees can still be useful, and that's why they're such a powerful tool. Keeping them alive, just not exactly like keeping an Oracle alive, because Oracle are mostly scouting tools, Banshees are not. But you always have to consider that they could be lurking somewhere, and they could be annihilating one of your mineral lines if you're paying too much attention to the main fight. Bunny steaming forward, scanning, and dropping down a couple Crit Tumors before heading back into... Ooh, these tank shots kill more Marines than Zerglings, honestly. Other than incoming Reynor looking to approach the Lurk attack, the infamous Lurk attack. These Queens are very forward, not a lot of energy on them. One of them is gonna fall immediately. The Banelings cannot really get into position. There's a tank getting on top of them. Two Banshees. Where are the two Banshees? Oh, they're chilling in the back. Not really trying to get any damage. Good job by Bunny. Snapping Crit Tumors left and right. But Reynor is advancing with his tech pretty much uncontested. I don't think Bunny killed a single drone throughout the game. Yes, he killed a couple Queens, but that's really not the end of the world once you're on 4 bases. It tends to hurt if you either kill a lot of Queens or if it's very early into the game. Otherwise, you're just gonna replace them. How many Queens does Reynor have? Yeah, he has 8 Queens. He can inject every single base he wants. His crypt spread here in the middle is looking pretty bad, but overall his crypt spread is kind of amazing. I just are gonna force these Medivacs back. The Watchtower will stay firmly under the control of Bunny, and you can see what I meant when I was saying that it can get really crazy in the late game, because this Watchtower is such an important point of contention, but it's so complicated to walk through the middle of here once one of the two players gets control of this position, and it's so close to your opponent's bases. Like, it's so close to your opponent's third base, which is most of the time the most important base of the game for most races. Because it's a huge connecting point, and it's a huge resource gathering point as well. I'm just gonna try to set up a concave. Meanwhile, the Banelings trying to rush on top of the Marines. Good job by Bunny, kiting backwards. Both players approaching a maxed out stage. And Bunny is trying to split units left and right to try and get damage in multiple locations. The Hydras are gonna try to get a flank over these Medivacs, which are actually committing through the middle. I don't really know about that here on the left side instead. There's not much in the way of defense, mostly just Queens. And Bunny might find some damage. Reynor, quick on his reflexes, gonna send a lot of units in. Banelings will get decent connections, but not decent enough. While the Widowmines completely annihilated whatever was left over there by Reynor. Lots of dead SCVs through these Linbane run by. And Reynor is on 100 workers, while Bunny, losing 5, is gonna reset to 70. The army of the Bunny is very strong. Well, Reynor not really keeping up. He could lose quite a lot of drones over here on the right side. There's a huge army approaching. Reynor just doesn't look like he has enough in the way of defense over here. His production is absolutely insane, but without a Lurker then already up, you can see like this base is going down at a very fast rate. The tanks are gonna deal a lot of damage to the Banelings trying to get us around. There's still a lot of to the Lings trying to get us around. There's still a lot of Banelings in the main army. Reynor over here on the left side, defending only with Queens. It's gonna be an easy time. And while another Baneling run by killed quite a lot out of Bunny. And Bunny all of a sudden is on the back foot. I wasn't really expecting the defender's advantage of Reynor to kick in so strongly, but it indeed was the most important factor in this battle victory out of Reynor, with tons and tons of Lings and Banelings joining the fight just when Reynor needed them. Yeah, losing an archery sucks a little bit, but not the end of the world at all. Bunny losing a little bit more workers than he was wanting to. He's now gonna find himself not really in the best spot as far as production goes, while Reynor is kind of starting to build up a bank. And of course, with the +3/+3 upgrades incoming and the Lurker then being finished, you can start playing a more stationary game with, of course, the Banelings and Lings trying to get Bunny by surprise. Over here, main fight in between those bridges could be a disaster for both these players, and both of them are gonna be extra careful around it. Meanwhile, on the other side, as you can see, Reynor stationary on one side, aggressive on the other. He's gonna lose quite a lot without really dealing too much damage, while Liberators, actually, not even Banshees, are getting quite a lot of kills. Both of the Liberators are indeed going to die after this. Lots of lost mining time, a couple drones go down, but Reynor can easily support this, especially when he replaces most of them. 7 Lurkers are on the way, and Bunny doesn't really look like he found the right opportunity to strike, while Reynor was transitioning into Lurkers. Bunny diving over here on the third base. That's quite a lot of defenses though. Banelings rushing forward. They're about to get some decent connections. Not great, just decent. But it's all the Reynor needs, honestly, to break through everything that Bunny sends through. On the other side, Link, Bane, Hydra annihilating one of the bases of Bunny, killing 16 workers. Over on the left side, Bunny trying to make some kind of miracle happen. The Lurkers are getting into position, and here comes the reinforcements. Lots and lots more Lings are getting them. The Lurkers will make short work of any bruised bio over here. Another huge wave of reinforcements incoming from Bunny, but this is basically it. The Broodlings also dealing a lot of damage, approaching the surround on the army of Bunny alongside the Lings. And now Bunny retreating to lick his wounds, losing a ghost basically for free. Good Widowmine shot, but I don't think this is going to be enough. The Lurkers get a good spot to siege in, and there's just not enough ghosts yet. Reynor easily reinforcing this position. He has Vipers at the ready to drop down Blinding Clouds or whatever he wants to drop. Here comes Double Attack, stopping the Knights and killing both of the ghosts. Reynor dwarfing the supply of his opponent right now. 95 workers to 50, and 100 army supply to 83. Italian Stallion in a great spot, dropping down Lurkers defensively over here at the Golden Base, getting controlled Watchtower on the other side of the map, and forcing Bunny to stay on 4 bases. This is not even a planetary fortress. If this goes down, Bunny is out of this game. Bunny knows this. He's gonna try to take control of the high ground, but it's already too late. The army of Reynor is getting into position. The Widowmine shot, nothing amazing. The Vipers are ready to do these ghosts dirty. A couple scans forward. There's so many Banelings with this army as well. On the left side, a multitude of Lurkers is moving forward. I don't think he's gonna cut it, or is it actually? The ghosts are escaping in the back, while Widowmines try to do their best at keeping the economy of Reynor honest, but of honesty, it doesn't have anything. 88 workers to 50. The main armies are clashing, and Bunny is definitely not winning the trade. Reinforcements incoming. The Hydras are still alive, and there's not much left in the way. Bunny taps out, and Reynor takes game number 1. And yes, this is the map pool that's gonna be remembered for having 2 maps with pocket bases. Of course, on Moon Dance is slightly different because it's a half base. This one is a full flush base, and it's kind of easy to defend. The ramp is identical to the ramp into the main, and the only real issue is controlling this watchtower because the air distance rush is just non-existent. There's also a lot of dead air space, so you're gonna be forced to drop down a lot of static defense if you get the base. That's why most players took it as their third or fourth sometimes as well. Also, because if you mine those down, you just get a free buff into the main. Because yes, this is not a big ramp. This one is though. This one is identical to these ramps in dimensions, as you can see. While this is just like the one in the main, as you can see. It's a Reaper first, out of money. Not going for the Marine first again. Reynor is gonna see the Rex in the wall. You're just gonna be content with it. He's also gonna try and see the first unit out. Sees the Reaper, knows what's up. Simply not. I doubt this is going to try and stop the third from coming for Reynor. Yeah. The Clash opener just kind of stop any attempt at stopping the Zer players from getting their third in this matchup. You're just never gonna do it. Queen will spawn, Reaper will go back. It's more about tech right now. And taking especially into consideration how much resources is Bunny saving. Because right now he's just gonna swap these two structures. He's gonna drop down on StarCraft. Alright. He's not saving up for a third command center this early on. Shifting from the previous build. Well, of course, trying to get as much scouting information as possible. But as of now, a 1-1-1 without third command center. I guess a very standard Ashka's pool opener. Clash opener, I shall say. Here comes the third command center for Bunny. Next to the mineral feeds, they need to be mined down. Of course, to drop the command center in the right spot. It's again Banshees out of Bunny. Just want to double check if he's ever gonna start Banshee Cloak, because we've seen sometimes just a single Banshee being used more as a scouting tool than anything. It's gonna be Cloak. He's overall one of the favorite openers out of Bunny. One of the openers he's the most confident with. It's just his go-to opener. And Stargazers is just the perfect map for this, to be honest. So overall, I don't mind Bunny going for this kind of strategy. It feels like a very solid one. Verbase can get into position for Bunny, while Reynor is soon to take his fourth one. That's why he's trying to defend this low ground and these crit tumors as much as possible, because he desperately wants to get into position over here to drop down fourth. Getting a fourth over here is decent, but yeah, side blockers tend to be a huge pain. And this ramp is not that easily accessible. But we're gonna see. Reynor could also make a different thought process and just say, yeah, this is the furthest base possible from my opponent's base, so it's by default easier to defend. Which can be true. It also makes the reinforcements a little bit harder to get into position. He's gonna take this one. Of course, being closer to the golden base, it makes this also a little bit of a race to the golden, which is again a very huge point of contention, an important point of contention. As you can see in the middle, the watchtower and the golden base are the biggest points, and then there's this very hard to traverse area in the middle. Banshees are getting into position. Here on Stargazers, they're gonna do just so much. Transfuses are available, they're gonna be dropped one after the other on this queen to keep it alive, while the queens are retreating back to Spore Crawlers as soon as they can. And here, in Spore Crawlers' range, they will get another transfuse to save another queen, and will stay clump together to try and bring the fight to the Banshees. As you can see, amassing 3 kills. And again, just like in the previous game, they can always find a position in which they can be useful. There's no spore crawler in the middle. Oh yeah, there is one. And it's in a quite interesting spot as well. Twins are gonna chip a little at these Banshees before they escape. Bunny has built his impenetrable wall of defense on 3 bases. Terran is super strong with Stargazers. Very complicated to attack into a Terran with a small natural, and Bunny appears to have 2 small naturals basically, so... Without a Spire up in the skies, like... Well, it's not the Spire up in the skies, it's the Spire that goes up and brings unit to go up in the skies, like... You get what I mean. I'm sure you do. By the way, like... Again, an interesting coincidence. As soon as I say the word Spire, Reynor drops 1 Spire. But it does feel like not going for Sky control in this map is just a mistake. Spires, Target, and Starport are all mandatory things. Especially out of Starport, you either go like Liberators or Banshees as Terran, which is so good. The Spire is pretty much mandatory tech out of Lair for Desert players in all matchups, and Stargate is just the go-to opener for every Protoss on this base, on this map. There's just no escape. I've seen also very successful BC rushes on Stargazers, which is obviously one of the best maps to do Battlecruiser's rush. Easy to defend, solid on the offense, and, lots of dead air space to retreat. All units have to go a long way to chase down your cruisers. But he's setting up quite a powerful army. He's amassing just when Reynor is at its weakest. It does look like Bunny has made a read into this game, reading that his opponent is going to Spire and he's going to be extremely vulnerable right now. Because back home he basically has nothing. He doesn't really have any static defense of some sorts. Of course I'm referring to missile turrets. It's not gonna be easy to get through the defenses of Reynor, especially with this much crit spread and with these side blockers being still possibly hiding something. Of course, there's the Medivacs. Bunny does see into this, but doesn't see as far as this. Couple of drones are dying somewhere. Reynor trying to take control of the golden, while the mutas are starting to amass. How many mutas are up there? 9 mutas. They're getting mushed on. Another scan. Bunny drops down a couple more crypt tumors, leapfrogging his tanks forward. Reynor forced into a defensive position. It's such an interesting map in these situations, in these timing attacks, where this ramp becomes, of course, the most important piece of the puzzle. Controlling for the defensive player is mandatory, and if the attacker gets control of it, you basically have a red carpet into controlling the rally point of your opponent. Mutas just not gonna cut it. Bunny leaves some marines back home, and these mutas without +1 they just cannot really do much. There's not a lot of distance between the bases of Bunny, so you are just not in the position to try and move around those. Sensor tower is gonna go down. Reynor is sending quite a lot of units in. That's a lot of lanes. The Banelings go through the wall as well. They don't get really good connections, and these mutas are gonna find themselves surrounded by so many marines. It does feel like Reynor is just trying to buy some time. He's maxed out again. His tech though is not really good. Not really good at all. Bunny, on the other hand, is still pretty decently in the lead as far as army supply goes. He doesn't really have a strong economy, but his army is not inflated by mutas that are just not good in a heads-on fight. Well, Reynor is trying to at least keep the attention of his opponent away. Gonna make 22 more Banelings, but there's so much in the army of Bunny. How many marines does he have? 75 marines, that's such a huge amount of them. 9 SCVs are gonna go down. But the Taurs have joined the fray. The pre-spreads out of Bunny are kind of amazing, but there's so many Banelings out there Can Bunny actually handle the storm? The Banelings are not getting crazy good connections. The door is still up, standing in the... well, not in the skies. Trying to stand against the Mutas in the skies. But the Mutas are whatever is left for Reynor in this fight. It's looking kind of green. Another Tor is gonna join the fray and kill a couple more Mutas while Bunny is steaming on top of the Golden. Yeah, this isn't really looking clean for the Zerg player. Of course, Bunny lost quite a lot of his own stuff as well, and he's still on 4 bases. Well, yeah, Reynor didn't really expand in time over here. Probably was expecting to drop down another base. Like, probably that add-on attack left him quite vulnerable. It doesn't really look like he's replacing his army as quickly as he wanted to. It does look like a larva problem, exactly. Using all of these links without doing much tends to lead to some larva problems. As you can see, Reynor, like, he is really rich in minerals. He's dropping down archeries. He probably should make queens right now. Find a way to spend those minerals, because right now he doesn't really have larva to get more and more lanes. Trying to make banelings out of the resources he has. But Bunny is replacing his lost army a lot quicker than his opponent. And these banelings are just not really gonna cut it throughout that spot with the pre-spread that Bunny has built up into. Again, another huge run by out of Reynor. This time a much more successful one than the first we've seen this game. Again, 9 SCVs will go down, force a lot of attention out of Bunny, but Bunny is just moving forward. He's taking control of the ramp I was talking about. And you can see the red carpet being established. He's gonna try to attack into the fur base. It's where the spire is. Let's remember that. The Golden has not been retaken. Crit spread of Reynor is completely non-existent right now, not even covering the ramps. With 2 of them being under the control of the army of Bunny. Reynor not really finding a spot to bite back, just buying himself a little bit more time. 20 workers ahead. All he needs is time and larva. That's a little bit of a drop. Oh no, there's nothing to defend over here. Bunny studying this map to perfection and getting exactly the right strategies to counter whatever a Zerg will think when approaching a game on Stargaze as the archery goes down. And this is not a good thing. Well, losing all of those banelings is not a good thing either. 8 SCVs are gonna die with this. There's not a lot of missile turrets, just 4 over the... yeah, 4 is enough. There's not a lot of mutas, and they don't have +2. Lings are in position to try and do something, but Bunny is gonna kill a 4th base. This base goes down, it's only these banelings and the fur base of Reynor upstanding. Larva is not looking good. Bunny losing so much army though. This is a huge risk from the Terran player, waiting for his reinforcements to join the fray. The mutas are gonna try to get on top of the medivacs, but the Tor drops down. The Tors actually drop down and get another attack, but another incredible attack by Reynor. How is he doing this? Recovering from a desperate position, completely starved of larva in these links, yet finding damage alongside the mutas, blindsiding Bunny left and right. Basically both players are just reset on bases. There's nothing to mine here. Over here only mules have been dropped, and yes, Bunny's mining from there, but Reynor is retaking all the bases he lost. 3 archeries going up at once. Bunny needs to do something about it right now. Otherwise, this game is not gonna go his side. Reynor, pure thievery in this game, is escaping with the game in some incredible ways. Bunny doing the big mistake of mining down that wall without actually building up supply depots to bring it up at any moment's notice, and now Reynor is just going rampage on those mineral lines. The mutas are still being a huge nuisance. +2 is also soon to come, and Reynor basically is surrounding the bases of Bunny, pulling him left, then right, then left and right again. Burrow is incoming. +2 flyer is about to finish. You don't want to fly over missile turrets anyway. I know there's just 2 of them. Yeah, they're also pretty far together. Yeah, like, okay. You can't dive on top of them. This one medivac is also going... oh, actually not going down. Surviving with 4 health. Mutas kind of sacrificing in one place or another to pull Bunny back again. And Reynor He's taking his 3 bases. He's starting to saturate them. He's starting to have some interesting amount of larva once more. And now that he's maxed out, he's gonna start building up a very huge bank, especially with those 2.5k Vespin. And these mutas are still going at it, by the way. Oof. Bunny lost a huge opportunity. It's time for a full head-on attack, but yeah, the mutas are just... Oh my goodness, Reynor, how do you always find a way in? It's not really even that easy, like the 4 bases are very close together, and over here Reynor getting a full-on attack. So many banelings collapsing over whatever Bunny sent to scout forward. It's only the backward army with 1 Tor and 2 Liberators supporting the bulk of these bio. Reinforcements are gonna come, but are they gonna come fast enough? There's so many banelings, they're not even detonating yet. They're just marching through whatever they found. And they're gonna absolutely wreak havoc in the army of Bunny. 25 workers with the muta still going at it. And his army supply plummeting. Only a couple medivacs in the skies. There's 1 Tor, a bunch of bio, and all of it is gonna be immediately surrounded. More mutas are gonna join the battle to try and deal with whatever is left over here. The Queen's forcing the Liberators back. And Bunny is flying back into safety, desperately trying to make something happen. But nothing is happening over here. With Lings hiding under the ground, ready to put the final nail in the coffin for the Terrans. The mutas come for the cleanup. Bunny's sending in some reinforcements, but yeah, Corruptors incoming, more and more lanes. There's banelings getting in position, some even forming the good old baneling mine. And oh, okay, a scan forward will stop these banelings from actually gaining any surprise attack. But so many more banelings are incoming. It's time for the Corruptors to come in clutch. There's a few medivacs in the skies. This Tor cannot hide anymore, and he goes down. The final bastion of the Terran army crumbles to pieces. Lings marching forward, and Reynor controlling also the pocket base of Bunny. 20 workers to 60, 74 army supply to 36, and Reynor also has kind of a bank in Vespin. He doesn't have a lot of larva, but there's nothing to counter these Corruptors, dropping down their caustic spray onto this command center. Command center will escape, but there's still Lings hiding, ready to strike. When Bunny expects it the least, GG gets called. Reynor gets to match point. Set number 3, Tropical Sacrifice. Is the map of choice. Here in the top right hand corner is do or die for this player over here. Needs to win 3 in a row. Can he do it? From Team NV Gaming, it's Bunny. His opponent in the blue, 1 Stone Toss from advancing to the next stage. It's the Italian Stallion currently match point. It's a Reynor. With a pull first. And Bunny has accustomed us to some interesting proxies in the boss, especially when he's on back foot. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Huh. That's a command center first. Very polarizing openings. 6 lanes incoming. Just the usual, just to be extra careful around proxies. You can see that he's overload scouting path. This one is just gonna straight for the Wolof to see what is going on, while the other is just on the lookout for proxies. And there's tons and tons of good places to hide something on Tropical Sacrifice. especially with the double ramp. You can always kind of hide something over here. It's a huge area to cover. And then over here, it's also another pretty huge area to cover with multiple sneaky locations in which you can drop structures. Sixteens are making their way through. There's gonna be Marines for the defense. But yeah, the command center is already up, so there's really no way Reynor does anything significant over here. Well, actually lots of SCVs being put into the fight to just try and buy time for the Marine, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, these links are not really cutting through the SCVs as well. SCVs are rather bulky. Oh, the supply debit will be cancelled. The Marine kiting backwards and focusing fire onto these links. A couple SCVs pulled into the fight again. And these links just need to escape. There is nothing in this mineral line. Bunny will escape with his early third. Sorry, not early third, just command center first. And only one link left standing. Gonna try to get in for a full scout. We'll see the 1-1-1. And we'll be content with a piece of information that this is not an early third command center. Reynor drops down his third as well. Metabolic boost halfway through. This weird open and out of both players will amount to basically nothing. And then it's getting through as well. Bunny got the piece of information that this was indeed a 16 pool. So he will definitely try to get some timing going, get aggressive when his opponent is still not recovering from these slightly slower early game. Yeah, bailing speed is not going to be a thing for a while. Probably a layer is going to be started just, I think, in about 30 seconds. That's where you want it at least. And he's going to have quite a lot of workers early on, so he can get some stuff going very quickly when it comes to like 7 minutes timing and stuff such as that. We're not losing an overload. We supply blocked a little bit. Couple buildings being made as well by Reynor. Stay extra careful around things such as early drops. But again, this is definitely not the plan over here for Bunny. It's more of a setting up a huge timing attack in about 2 to 3 minutes from now. More like 2. So I would love Reynor to actually try to drop down some tech instead of getting defensive units. Defensive units early on at this stage against only the 4 aliens, they're not going to be useful. There's a little bit of a counterattack. He's just going to get something, not much, a couple Marines, maybe an alien or 2. Trying to get some scouting information. Well, of course, there's basically nothing back home, but just a couple aliens are going to make the cut. The wall is going up for Bunny. Now it's 6 aliens sharking around the map, and Reynor losing a couple. I don't know about this. Reynor has been. I don't love this. I do feel like Bunny's play was super obvious. Now that you kind of acknowledge there's no third as well, it's not like you 100% know, but you kind of should. It's not that hard to read that Bunny is trying to go for a very powerful 2-base timing. Just trying to break through the defenses of Reynor, which are definitely not looking like that great at all. Bunny 630 is the moment in which he wants to strike a steam. Will establish control of this ramp over here with the tanks. Ready to attack basically on every single direction. Reynor desperately trying to get this little bit of a surround going. These lanes of creep in between tanks are just not the greatest thing possible. The tanks are gonna shoot a little bit on top of the Marines too much. Reynor losing more and more lanes to this. And now that Medivacs are out, Bunny can move forward with full might. Marines are steaming. There's lots of Cryptimers over here. So many Queens in the army of Reynor. I was definitely underestimating this. Viking goes down immediately, denying free high ground sight. Oh, these Queens are getting a huge show point, but the tanks are going down so quickly. Beautiful surround, even with slow Banelings. And it's time for the Queens to move forward, but the Concave out of Bunny will make this easier. The tank actually survived. And now the Queens all clamped together are not really cutting it. Not at all. Not a lot of transfuses available. And actually, probably no transfuse available right now for Reynor. Bunny is steaming forward. The Banelings are getting there, but there's so many Queens, so many tanks in position. Well, it's just the two, but two look like a million when you have nothing to deal with them. The last 3 Queens trying to stay in the fight. These lanes are gonna ensure the tanks shoot on top of each other. Another tank is getting into position, but this third out of Reynor is definitely going down. He's trying to expand on the top left right now. As you can see over here, trying to keep up with the production, but you can see, like, yeah, this base is injected, this one is injected, this one isn't. How is he doing at Larva? Not much, but he's still making a lot of lanes right now. He needs to buy some time, somewhat getting Banelings to get into us around. The tanks are getting into some dangerous positions, but they are also gonna be cleared down. The Banelings move forward, and are they gonna cut it? I'm unsure about this. But Reynor is moving forward. The last tank is going down. But the reinforcements are coming for Bunny. And he's handling the storm. There's no transfuse available. These are the last few links. There's still energy in these Medivacs. Here comes the reinforcements. Just in time to shoo away these Queens. Snap them one after the other. 18 links, 4 Banelings incoming. Defender's advantage doing its best for the blue Zerg player. But Bunny is getting on top of the rally point. He has 1 tank sieged next to the rally point. He's dropping down scans to see whatever is coming his way. Another wave of reinforcements is coming for Bunny. Another 2 Medivacs ready to heal back these Marines back to full health. And there's just a couple Banelings. GG gets gold. Bunny takes game number 3. Actually, Lola is just sitting there. Probably waiting for an SCV to show up if it's the case of a proxy. But with the 16 pool, like you are safe against it. You're just not gonna have too many problems about it. Is Reynor going to take this gas as well? Sure feels like it. Again, it's 6 lanes, and again, they're not really hiding. Well, 2 of them are trying to go around. But yeah, this SCV is gonna see this as a 16 pool. Is Bunny gonna play safe about it? Or is he just gonna assume that this is again, an anti-proxy build? Because this just isn't an anti-proxy build. This is a no lane. With Roach and Ravagers. And Moondance, it's a good map for that because, as you can see, there's no ramp to the natural. And you can also get some funny stuff over here with the Ravagers winning battles over here. It's not good, but it's funny. The 2 lanes are getting on top of the natural. Of course, lots of SCVs are gonna be pulled. Basically, not real veil. Like, yeah, it's just like the previous game. But this time, Riches are incoming as well. Command center is just about to finish, will complete. While the first marine is getting on the way. There's a bunker over here on the high ground. Oh, the Lynx got through the wall, by the way. They just didn't want to commit. And now the Roaches are joining the field as well. And so are the Ravagers. With only 1 single Vespene Geyser, with a interesting variation out of Reynor. Instead of the 4 drones mining out of gas, it just has 3. But yeah, there's not much over here for Bunny. Unluckily for him, yeah, this supply depot is going down. The bunker is probably next to go. So many SCVs are gonna fall one after the other. There's aliens incoming. No tech lab to defend against it. And yeah, this is starting to look very ugly for the Red Terran. Reactor goes down as well. The Roaches and the Ravagers are trying to cut through this. Supply depots are next in line. And it's only T Command Center ensuring Bunny isn't supply blocked right now. So one more supply depot incoming on the backline. This bunker being the real hero so far, with 4 Marines inside of it. The SCVs are not getting close to repair it. They're trying to repair the aliens. More and more piles are raining down. They're targeting SCVs and bunker alike, and so much stuff is falling down. Aliens from the high ground will snipe one of the Roaches, but 3 Ravagers are still up and standing. And the production of Bunny is just terrible right now. He has no add-on. The SCVs being put into the fight, but the Ravagers can kite them forever. 10 SCVs falling down to one single pile, maybe more, I don't know. And yeah, these SCVs are trying to get in the middle line over here, trying to get us around, trying to get something going. Reynor is just droning back home. He's feeling confident, he's feeling safe. The SCV is trying to block these Ravagers, but the Ravagers just do not care. They go on top of the Marines, they rain piles. It's one Viking landing down on the ground. Only one Ravager left standing. But Bunny's economy is just going downhill super quickly. The Ravager will try to slowly hide over here. He's gonna go down. But so is Bunny. Bunny doesn't have anything at all. The Ravager falls, but GG gets cold. Reynor takes the series.